Okay, we are live, and then let me just make sure our Instagram is good. Okay, and we are also good on Instagram. Okay, what's going on, guys? And thank you for joining another episode of Office Hours. I am your host, Nyla Simone, and today we are joined with Elizabeth Webster from Rebel. Now, Rebel is music-free artist first distribution platform built to help independent music artists get heard fast without barriers. You can upload music and they help you with a global audience and drive real-time analytics um, for you as an artist. So Elizabeth, thank you for being here today.
Hi, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry. It's treble with a T.
Trouble, I'm sorry. Why do I keep doing
No
that?
worries.
Sorry.
No, you're totally good. Yeah, but thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. Now, when my coworker Mel presented me with Treble the platform, I was actually really fascinated by it because I had never heard of it. But I do think it's really cool how you guys help expand artists reach globally in different regions for people who don't have, access to regular DSPs.
Mm.
But can you just walk me through the platform and just the different services that you guys offer?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, Treble is not really your average streaming service. So we are a download platform where we work with different labels and distributors to where we provide access to users to all of their music. We have upwards of 80 million songs available within our app. And any user is able to download those songs without cost, and there's no subscription cost. But the way that it works is we partner with brands to where there's ads kind of throughout the app, and they play an ad, like a 15-second ad as you're downloading a song, and that kind of provides that music for you. But uh, then once you have that song, you're able to listen offline, on airplane mode, on shuffle, and there aren't any ads that are interrupting your music play. So once you have that music, you can play it anytime you want without any interruptions. And basically, that's kind of the platform that we're working with. And it's a very interesting way that I think is a little bit more of a niche where, streaming platforms are very popular, and especially the premium streaming platforms, but there are so many people globally that can't afford to have a streaming service, or maybe don't want that and want to be able to just kind of listen to that music. But then they're usually have the barrier of ads. So we kind of provide that more of a premium experience without actually having to have anybody pay.
Lovely. Love that. Well, what would you say sets your company apart from other platform services in the music industry specific to independent artists?
I would say because we are still a growing brand, we have about an average of 1 million monthly active users in the US, and about 8 to 9 million in Mexico, and a couple other regions. Um, I would say that we are really trying to work with the independent artists to kind of boost them and really um, cater to their audiences and also build their niche audiences within our app. And we also, because we are a pretty small company, we're able to work pretty quickly. And, if an artist or a label reaches out to us about wanting to maybe do a certain campaign or push this specific artist or kind of show an interest in, this specific type of genre or category, we are able to kind of put that together pretty quickly and actually kind of really highlight those artists. And I think it's really important just because since we are even, I would say, we're not the biggest brand. We're not like a Spotify or Apple Music. I think we really want to make sure that those other independent artists are seen on our platform.
How would you say, like, you guys tailor your services to different stages of different artists' careers? Because some independent artists are big, like Russ, versus like,
Mm.
somebody who's local.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of different marketing opportunities. Um, a lot of the independent artists that are maybe a little bit bigger are already going to be getting those playlist placements and already going to be getting, you know, different pushes and features. And so for the smaller artists that are really trying to grow their audience, we have a lot of different opportunities where we have, you know, different emerging categories, where we have an entire genre page just dedicated to emerging artists. We have interview series that we really want to dedicate just to independent artists to kind of show who they're all about and what their music's like and kind of how they even got started in this industry. And so we really try to focus on making sure that they're showcased as well, because as they grow their audience, that also grows our audience as well. So it's kind of mutually beneficial, but then also we really want to make sure we're showing love to them.
Nice. Okay. I love that. So for smaller artists, how would you say you guys offer tools or strategies as far as playlisting?
Yeah, I mean, so we are able to be reached via email or through either if you have like a label or distributor that you work with, or if you are on your own. We also, you know, we're always looking at our Instagram DMs. So if you ever want to get in touch with us to kind of figure out a way that you can be featured, you can always reach out, and we'll try to the best or can we'll try the best we can to make sure that we meet with you, and we're also talking to you about our opportunities. And then once we've kind of discussed that, I think we can talk a lot about whether, you know, the type of genre that you want to focus on, or if there is a specific niche within the audience that you want to reach. And we are very open to actually really giving love to those playlists. And also we ask that, I mean, it helps the artist as well. If the artist is willing to, you know, if we put them on a playlist, if they're willing to showcase that on their social media or give it like a repost. So, and adding us to their links, you know, for their releases, I think can be really helpful. And then we also have a lot of different, you know, opportunities where if there is an artist that is a little bit more emerging, we definitely would be willing to kind of place them in specific areas of, you know, the genre pages to kind of make sure that they're surrounded by bigger artists to kind of give them a little bit more of that name recognition.
I love that. That's awesome. And in regards to that, like, can artists track their engagement and growth all within your platform?
So technically, we are still developing
Okay.
our artist platform, but we are always sharing, you know, performance with artists if they ask, or if, you know, we send monthly reports to labels and distributors to kind of let them know who's their top artists in our app, who are the users really listening to. Is there maybe somebody who is not maybe in the top 10, but in the top 20 or 30 or even top 50 that they see that they really want to grow, and they can kind of pick out and say, hey, let's focus on giving this artist some love. So unfortunately, we can't have the artist track it themselves, but we definitely have the ability to kind of share different aspects of that.
Lovely. Okay, cool. And this is just out of curiosity. Is it is the platform going to remain free with the same ad ads paying for the platform, or is that like a temporary thing until the company I guess reaches a certain point number wise?
I would say we are, at least to my knowledge, we are going to be sticking to keeping it without a subscription cost. We actually do have, it's technically called Treble Pass or Treble Max, depending on the country you're in, where users can pay if they want to maybe have either faster downloads or lesser ads shown to them throughout. But that is really our core value of making sure that we're giving users access to premium music without having them pay for anything, because it's just, you know, there's a lot of people who maybe don't even have access to data to stream, and so we think that, you know, music is a right that everybody deserves to be able to listen to their favorite artists, and so that is really something that is true to the core of our company.
Love that. No, I'm just curious for my own sake because I'm definitely want to get on the platform,
Yeah.
especially with like competitors having rising prices.
Mhm.
I just wanted to take it to the chat real quick. Universal King says, "Good evening, everyone." Songwriter from Tennessee. It's evening for you. Um, but welcome, welcome. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. But okay, so my next question was, do you guys provide mentorship or guidance for artists to better navigate um, not only your platform but just the industry in general?
Mm. Yes, like if we've worked with a lot of artists that have reached out to us, either themselves or through a manager, or label, or distributor, and we're really able to kind of give them a lot of support in terms of what we provide. You know, we let them know all of our opportunities that are available, and if they're interested in anything, or maybe if they even have some ideas themselves. We've sometimes had artists, you know, pitch a style of interview that they think would be really cool to showcase their music, that we're really, you know, willing to kind of try out. And so we really try to make sure that the artists have all of those opportunities laid out for them.
Lovely. And um, I know you guys are still in the early stages, like size wise, but how do you go about connecting, like personally, and building with teams?
Do you mean just within the company or within outside?
For artists to build within the company, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we, even though we're small, we're pretty responsive and really make sure that if there is somebody that's willing to look into that wants to look into the opportunities and wants to work with us, you know, we will have that support. We have, you know, I am the manager of the content and label relations team, and then there's a few people on my team that are always looking at emails and DMs, and then teams. I work very closely with our team in Mexico, and they're doing the same. So yeah, we're always going to be here. So if you ever want to reach out and or have a question or anything, you can always reach out to our email.
Okay. Now, as far as monetization goes on your platform, do artists get paid for their music being played?
Yes. So each of our different like contracts and everything with labels and distributors is worked out differently, but um, that is where the brands come in. So that is how we are building that revenue for artists. And so once we partner with brands, then you know, and those ads that you're seeing are what is helping pay for the artists.
Okay. So, and are they getting paid like through syncing, or is it like, would it be like from your BMI or like ASCAP? Like, how does the payout work? Or is it like from your account on the website?
So it's very it's a little more unique where it's basically depends on like whoever they are either using just to kind of like put out their music,
Okay.
um, or whether they're maybe with an independent label. Each of those are worked out a little bit differently, so there isn't like one specific way, but usually um, like it's based on just the downloads and engagement within the app.
Okay. That makes sense. Is there a like community aspect that you guys have that can like help artists collaborate and work together?
You know, I don't believe we have a dedicated community, but I actually do think that that is a great idea. And I think we would definitely be willing to work on, you know, connecting other artists and maybe potentially setting them up with certain people, or, you know, getting them to know other people. But I think that would be a great opportunity. So I think that that's a great suggestion.
Okay. Yeah, no, just curious because I do like the global aspect of the company. So it's cool to maybe cross pollinate.
Mhm. Yes,
Um
definitely.
but okay, so how easy is it to upload and get, your songs on Treble?
So you technically can't upload directly to our platform.
Okay.
You have to either upload with like a distributor or label that we work with. So, like for one example, if you're an independent artist that has no connection to a label, we work with CD Baby, where you can just basically upload your music to CD Baby, and if it's available on CD Baby, then it will be available for us. But if you ever have any questions about like wanting to get your music on the platform or figuring out a way to connect with that type of distributor or a label, we would be more than willing to talk with you on that and figure out a way to do that, because we've actually done that with artists in the past where we've either connected them to a distributor or a label directly, and so we're very open to that.
Okay. And are there like any built-in promotional tools that can help artists with social media?
So with the I mean, within the app, if you are featured on any playlist or container, you can share that within the platform to social media. So if there's if you see a playlist that you're featured on within the app, you can share that on social media directly. But we also do work very closely with all of the labels and distributors and artists that have reached out, that we have done either playlisting or special spotlights, or different social media things where we'll provide all the links for them to be able to post on social media, and also engage with our social media as well.
Nice. Okay. And how do you see treble services fitting into an independent artist's long-term career strategy?
Well, I mean, because we have a lot of flexibility in the way that we can do promotions, there's a lot of different in-app availability, outside of playlisting, we do have unique opportunities of, if an artist wants to be spotlighted within our registration and sign up screen, basically where we'll place an artist that's maybe emerging amongst a bunch of other popular artists. And that kind of like makes the user think like, oh, like who's that person? Like they're right next to like Taylor Swift or somebody. So they must be similar. And it kind of just gets the user's head thinking about that, and also just kind of increases the name recognition and piques their interest. And then we also have header banners that live within the app for as long as we upload them. They don't switch around. That can direct either to an artist page or one of their releases, or a playlist that they're on. And then also for even more, we're constantly sending out push notifications on artists' behalf. So, if there's an artist maybe that, or somebody wants to have one of those pushes sent out, we can do that where we're targeting very specifically to users that we think are going to be the most likely to engage. And then on top of that, we also, we're very flexible on social media where if an artist wants to do an interview or even a liner because they maybe don't want to do like a full interview, we're totally up for that. And so are definitely willing to collaborate with any artist that would potentially want to have that type of spotlight. And so basically we can start small and kind of, start by placing them in certain areas of the app, to the point where they can kind of build more of a niche audience and then grow. And so, just naturally, as the user is placed a little bit more within the app and also on our social media, other users who may not know their music are just going to be more willing to click and, engage with their music. And so that kind of just helps grow their long-term career and kind of will create some dedicated fans, because that is the one thing about Treble, is that our fans and users and listeners are very dedicated to the artists that they love. So once you have a Treble fan, it'll probably stick for a while. So that'll really help increase their growth within the platform.
Nice. Okay. And do you have an example of how an artist has benefited or used treble in their rollout?
Yeah. So basically, there was an artist that we worked with a couple months ago who, we didn't even, we communicated a little bit, but we didn't do anything huge for their releases, just because we were deciding on what they wanted to do, and we did just like a couple posts and maybe like a playlist placement here, and they just happened to have really dedicated fans. And so once the artist reposted both a tweet and a social media post that we had for them, then all of their artists, or sorry, all of their listeners came to Treble, increasing engagement on their new release in anticipation of the album that they were releasing. And then, just naturally, because all, their listeners were coming over to Treble, more of the listeners that, had never heard of this artist or maybe had never played their artist, just it was increasing in the searches and increasing in just like general playlist placements, because if an artist becomes popular, we're going to just place them more naturally. And so then they were able to really have a lot of hype around when they dropped more releases. And then we were able to do a little bit more social media and the kind of a lot of mutual posting and collaboration that I think was really helpful for them.
Yeah, good engagement.
Mm.
Okay. I'm just gonna take it to the chat real quick. Rubber Band says, I have some songs that are cleared for social media but not music distributor. Can they be uploaded, or is it just release songs?
I would need to look at the specific example, but I think for the most part they would have to be with a distributor. But it is pretty easy to upload music. For example, earlier I'd said CD Baby. It's pretty easy to upload there if they wanted to get that available on the platform. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by having it cleared for social media, but yeah, just generally we usually have to have some sort of either distributor or label, whether it be independent or they upload it themselves. But that is usually how we obtain music for a platform.
All right. Now, my next question is, can you just tell me more about what the Treble Studio is exactly?
Yeah, so we actually in Mexico City, we have an office in Mexico City, and we also have a studio where we've had a ton of artists come through and either shoot interviews with us, or they also do listening sessions. So they'll bring in, their band and whatever they need for a listening session in anticipation of a new release or a new album. They'll come and record a song or even a couple of songs as like a exclusive listening session. That's like an acoustic version. And we'll also even like sometimes we'll work with the artist to also do a promotion where we'll invite fans to the listening session. So we'll either do like a giveaway or like a social media lottery almost, where we'll be able to kind of see their super fans and invite the fans to the listening session. So that's really yes, in person in Mexico City.
Nice.
So that is really kind of what we've tried to do, and we're developing all of our socials on for interviews and different types of promotion. So we're just going to continue to even have more ideas for that type of interview.
Nice. I love that. Good community building. Rubber Band responded from his last question and said, I make hybrid AI songs and they have licenses, but sometimes don't get cleared by 2Loss. I guess there are different detection criteria or something. I don't know anything about AI songs.
Yeah, AI, it is something that is interesting, because we have now that we're in the time of AI, we have increasingly had different AI songs or different things to work with on there, and kind of also we're now working with the labels and distributors on how that's going to work. But I would definitely need to know just a little bit more clarity on why they weren't cleared by 2Loss. Usually if a song is cleared by 2Loss, like we will be able to have it and we'll be able to make sure that it's available on our platform. And so I think maybe you can always reach out to us and give us just a little bit more specifics on your type of releases, and we can try to figure something out.
Yes. Okay. Now, I know you said that analytics aren't necessarily available for artists just yet, but when the artist dashboard is ready, do you know like what exactly they'll be able to track, or not yet?
Yeah, so I don't have an exact timeline. We definitely have worked on it, and we are trying to, figure that out. I don't have a specific date that I can say on whether when it will be released, but we're hoping that artists will be able to track downloads and plays, track the amount of users that are listening to their music, track, what playlist they're on, and that's one thing that would be really easy for them to see, because we are constantly emailing the labels and distributors on whether their artists are featured on a playlist or featured somewhere in the app, but they'll actually be able to see that themselves and directly repost that to social media. And so yeah, it'll be a lot of those types of analytics based on page visits and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And I know that the brands and partners are the ones who are paying for the ads, but I'm just curious, like, is there any way, like, say you guys get a really big independent artist who is using the platform, do you guys ever like connect the worlds between brand partnerships and artists?
Yes, we actually have. There's a lot of different brands that are willing to work with different artists and vice versa. And we actually did a collaboration with I'm trying to remember the name of the band that we had worked with. But it was we did a collaboration with them where we connected them to Smirnoff vodka. And basically they had an entire it was like a Latin pop group. It was called RBD. I'm now remembering. And it was a Latin pop group that was really big, and they were having like a big comeback. And we did a collaboration where basically there were certain bottles that you bought that had a little tag on it with a QR code that said to download their new release on Treble. And so we've kind of connected them. And we definitely are willing to do a lot more stuff like that. That was a really cool partnership.
Cute. Yeah, I love that. Personal touches.
Mhm.
Okay, so I know you guys are really popular in Latin America, but I was just curious if you were familiar with like the other popular regions for the company.
Yeah, so we're hoping to expand, into different continents, and I think it's definitely currently US and Latin America that is our biggest. Um, we had a little bit, in Indonesia as well. And we're really hoping to potentially expand into other countries, potentially looking into countries in Africa. And the European market is a little bit more difficult, or just because there's, different regulations, whatever. But our ultimate goal would definitely to be to expand into different territories.
And as far as the genres go on the platform, is there like a favored one, or do
Hmm.
you guys have an umbrella of like, we cover every genre, we have all types of playlists?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, just generally, we have all genres, and we really try to make sure that we're presenting a blend of different types of music. We really try to shuffle our search screen around and shuffle our containers to make sure that we're keeping everything fresh and that we're presenting different genres to users. But there obviously are, different genres that are a little bit more popular, just based on what our users like listening to. Hip hop is very popular in the U.S. And we also have had a lot of like bleed over from Mexico, where Latin and regional Mexican is very popular in the U.S. as well. It's kind of funny where sometimes there will be an artist that is kind of emerging in Mexico, and then we'll start to see them in the U.S. and we'll start playlisting them and pushing them, and it'll be like weeks before like some of the bigger streaming services are even platforming them, because we're able to kind of see a little bit of an earlier audience there. But yeah, but even though those are like very popular genres, we really try to platform all different types of music and have like all the playlists and categories and genres available.
Lovely. Now, for new artists who are interested in listening, where should they start?
Um, Listening just to music on Treble?
Just get familiar with the interface.
Oh yeah, I would say I would definitely recommend downloading Treble, kind of looking around our different containers, looking at our different playlists and what we have available, looking at our different pages, to kind of see. We also have a lot of niche playlists and niche pages that we do, and also based on seasons. If there's like a specific holiday we're pushing. So we really try to kind of mix it up. And yeah, I would just say I would recommend just kind of playing around with it and try downloading their favorite artists, try downloading, newer artists that they've never heard of. And yeah, just kind of see what it's about.
And when you sign up, are you like, do you have a profile, like
Yes.
a saved search history of the things you've listened to and stuff like that?
Yeah. So you have a profile. You put as much or as little information you want. Usually it's kind of just like the basic, like name, age, where you're located. Um, and you can also, as you're registering, as I mentioned before, like sometimes we'll place emerging artists within our search, or within our registration artists. You are able to select like a certain amount of artists that you really like. And so we'll be able to know kind of what artists to kind of push towards you, and you'll be able to see those top artists and follow those artist pages. And so yeah, and you'll usually be able to track like what you recently downloaded or played, and we'll be able to kind of cater that to your user experience.
Nice. Okay. Is there any other feature that you feel like we missed in talking about Treble?
um I would say we actually, one thing that we do have that is a little bit more unique to our platform is we do have some kind of a gamification. So, for example, we have a game called Songtastic that we will run um, every like month or so, where it's basically like guess the song and guess the artist. So we'll have like a list of songs they have to kind of guess, and it's kind of a fun way for users to engage within the app, but then also maybe potentially discover new artists. And then we've partnered with brands on that as well. So maybe if a brand wants to do like a branded songtastic with a specific genre, or specific artists, we'll be able to do that. And then we also have something called Verses, where basically we'll run this again, like once a month or once every couple of weeks, where we have different categories where users can vote for either their favorite artist or favorite album, or like for example, for Halloween, we have like random ones like vote for like your favorite candy, and it'll be kind of like we'll have a playlist that has to do with that. And so they'll also be like given that playlist and have that music downloaded to kind of experience, which is just a fun way for users to engage a little bit more.
Yeah, cute. I like that. I had one last question, and when you brought up the achievements thing, like getting points for the games,
Mm-hmm.
who was it? Oh wait, I'll take it to the chat. Analog Stain says, "Hi, artist manager here. I love to tap into some PR opportunities with two laws. Who could I reach out to?"
Yeah. You can reach out to me, Elizabeth at TREBEL.io. You can also reach out to, depending on your where you want to push your music, you can also reach out to my co-manager who manages the content and label relations team in Mexico, Leticia, it's Leticia at TREBEL.io. I also have who I work with here, John Savona, who's JON at TREBEL.io. But we can make sure that there's maybe like we can have like some emails listed to do that. But yeah, if you ever have any type of opportunities, especially within Two Lost, we would be happy to talk about that. And so I would love to discuss or meet with you.
And let's see. Anything else in the chat? No. I'm so mad I can't remember my question. She said, "Yes, please, thank you," by the way. But it was something in regards to the achievements for the games. I guess it's kind of like Duolingo.
Like, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you can sometimes with the games we'll have like different opportunities where you can like win a day of treble pass, or where you'll have a day without ads, depending on what we're doing for that type of collaboration. So yeah, definitely we do. And we also do a lot of like giveaways. Like we've done like artist giveaways where if you participate, you could potentially win like a signed, either like something signed by that artist, if we're working specifically there. So yeah, we definitely try to make sure that we have some opportunities there.
Cute. I love that. Let me see. All right. Is there anything else I didn't cover in regards to Treble?
Um, I don't think so. I think we covered a lot, and
Oh,
if you, oh, sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I do remember my question. My question was, because I know you guys have the playlist, but do you guys also have essentially like a chart metric system? So like when popular releases come, like is there like a top 10 or
Um, so we actually do have that capability. I think we've played around with it, where we have containers that are like the top hits, where that'll usually be kind of ranked. We don't necessarily have it in like a chart format, but we actually have played around with that idea, and I believe we've done that in Mexico where we've had kind of like a chart. But yeah, that is something that we've definitely played around with, and that we would be willing to kind of explore. And but we also, but in the meantime, we have a lot of containers, that really try to have like, we have like a top searched container. So like if the top searched songs of the week are updated every single week, so you'll be able to see like what people are really looking for.
okay. All right, that's cool. And then, and similar to for songs like being the biggest, is there a chart or like competition in regards to the achievements, or is that just like for yourself?
We don't have that, but we actually have discussed that idea of like having a leaderboard. And we've also discussed having the idea of a leaderboard for users. So like if
Well,
users have
kind of.
like the top listener of the week, we've definitely talked about that. So yeah, that would be really cool to integrate. So I thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely into stuff like that.
Mm.
But okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much for talking to me about Treble and educating us all. Please let people know where they can find Treble if they're not on there already.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. You can find Treble in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. It's just if you search Treble or Treble Music, it's TREBEL. And you can also find us on social media at Treble Music, or if you're in Mexico, at Treble MX. And then if also, again, if you need to reach out to me about any type of opportunities, it's elizabeth@treble.io.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is great.
Of course, and thank you guys for joining me in the chat. We'll be back again next month with another office hours. Until next time, guys.
Yeah. All right. Bye.